Hey everybody, welcome back. This is a continuation of me reacting to the racist shooting that happened down in Florida yet again. And so I'm gonna bring back the same video. It had a few more minutes of ABC News covering it, and just work with me here just a little bit. And I appreciate your patience. And we're gonna pick up right where we started. Well, not right where we started. I apologize. I misspoke on that one. Let me try to find Ron DeSantis. There we go. Okay. So we are going to pick up right whenever Ron was responding. I mean, and don't get me wrong, guys, as the governor of Florida, what my rant was really about is that whether this man really believes the speech that is right there in front of him, in front of the podium or not, the point is that he has to, if he wants to remain in office, okay, he has to at least appear that he genuinely cares. Because other than that, like I said in the previous recording, you're talking out the sides, out both sides of your mouth. So let's go ahead, let's pick back up and finish this coverage.
Authorities pointing to what they call evidence of hate.
The shooter had authored several manifestos, plainly put, this shooting was racially motivated and he hated Black people.
Yesterday's shooting occurring exactly 5 years after the mass shooting at a Jacksonville video game tournament that killed 2 and injured nearly a dozen. Officials saying Saturday's suspect referenced that shooting in his writings. Tonight, as this community mourns, Jacksonville's mayor with this plea.
All I will say is we must come together and we must start valuing all of our humanity. We all have the same blood. We all have the same bones. And I am so very, very deeply, deeply sorry that this has happened in this community once again.
And it was an emotional plea, that community mourning once again. Alex Frichet joins us now live from Florida. And Alex, what are authorities saying tonight about any possible connection between the shooter and the victims?
Rachel, right now, authorities are saying there is no connection. Jacksonville's sheriff saying that Paul Metter was completely irrational, but at the same time knew what he was doing. Now, President Biden has responded to the shooting, saying there is no place for white supremacy in America. The FBI, Rachel, is now investigating this as a hate crime. Rachel?
The FBI promising every resource for as long as it takes. Alex, thank you.
Hi, everyone. George.
And that's it as far as ABC coverage goes. Now, there are a lot of coverages, like I said, MSNBC has coverage, TYT has different sub platforms. They are also covering it. On my way back from picking up my kids, I heard DL Hughley even talking about this. This is not going to go away. What I want to know is whenever we are covering this as journalists, as news cover anchors, as podcasts, and there's nothing about me that says political anything. I see what I see, I share, I speak my opinion on it. If it's something within my line of fire or expertise, I speak on it in grave detail because I know what I'm talking about. But then there's other things that just take place. It's just called common sense. it's called, you've lived a life, you've seen, things happen, you've seen, life. And what really kills me whenever I hear, and especially our very own people, and what I mean by that, our very own Black and brown people get on this Tim Scott train, and they want to speak from exception versus rule point of view whenever they're asked flat out, does racism exist? Like how Tim Scott was asked on The View weeks ago. Does racism exist? Not really. I mean, not as far as we didn't ask you about you. You are an exception to the rule, Tim Scott. Congratulations, Lil Wayne, if I remember your interview correctly. I mean, but heck, even with Lil Wayne's response, whenever people was asking him about racism, or has he had any issues with racism or something, then Tim Scott answer would have fit that scenario. Not, do you think racism exists, yes or no? We didn't ask you about your personal life. Nobody can really speak to anybody's life, for that matter, unless we're living it, unless we see what you see. And, we were the fly on the wall that whenever you had opportunities or no opportunities to deal with racism or not. We're just asking the flat out yes or no question. Does racism exist? Yes, it does. Okay, now we can go somewhere. Now we can start working. But when you can't even, and you can't, or you refuse to even admit that racism exists, that's called proverbially putting your head in the sand, like like how we depict ostriches do, burying their heads in the sand. It does not make the racism go away. As a matter of fact, these politicians, they know, these Republicans, they know the only reason why they're sitting in office, the only reason why they have the platforms that they have, is because of these racist bigots, because they just so happen to have the money. To them, it's about dollars and cents. That's why I said in the first video, it's amazing to me what people are willing to do for the love of the almighty dollar. And if you are a Bible person like I am, you will already know it is the love of money that is the root of all evil. And so from that perspective, this is just, the Bible just keeps on proving itself over and over, over and over. And this is why people that believe in what our Bible says, all of this has just been prophesied. All of it. This is why it's almost like a cliche-ish thing when we say, there's nothing new other than the sun. It's sad to see it happen. But some of these things, most of these things, they're going to have to happen because it's prophesied. But I'm not going to make this into a Bible lesson tonight. But I will say this, even with prophecies, if you follow the Bible, I'll just reference the story of Nineveh. Okay? And if you don't know what I'm referencing, in other words, real quick, God was going to destroy Nineveh, but they had an option. Keep on doing what you're doing, meet destruction, or repent, and I'll spare your life. So that's on us. But let's bring it back to me holding to account all of this racist, white supremacy rhetoric, and or the low-key support of it, but not really looking like we are, aka wokeism. Black history being taught as being hate history. You mean the truth? And this is what I share with my children. We know truth. It cuts and it heals at the same time. The truth doesn't always make you feel comfortable. The truth is supposed to bring about a conviction to the point to where it will cause you to want to change for the betterment of yourself. Most people in today's time don't even want to admit that they have an issue that should change for the better. They don't even want to acknowledge because their base would be exposed. So we've heard from the president. We heard from the governor. We've heard from the mayor. We've heard from the council members down in Jacksonville County. We know that they're holding prayer vigils. I'm sorry, I'm not. Forgive me of my lack of pronunciation there. Which is good. And then we'll have people on other platforms, they probably won't even mention this at all. They would do good if they spent 30 seconds on their main media platforms just bringing it up, because why? They don't want for you to pay this really any attention. If you notice, look at the different platforms. Look at the different platforms that you watch. All of it is evident. It's right there in your face. Look at how much time is spent covering stories like these. A minute, 2 minutes, maybe at the most. But for the platforms that really care, 5, 10, sometimes 15, because these journalists are really trying to do their job. This is why I do not believe in just focusing on one particular platform. Even the platforms I don't even care to watch, I still want to know what they're saying. So I will look at Fox News. I will look at very little things from like Truth Social and stuff, because I want to know what they're thinking. That's how you see your enemy coming, because you know what they're attacking. So that way you know how to set up yourself. So you know how to educate yourself. But you can't just look at one particular outlet and be like, oh yeah, I got it. I know what I'm talking. No, you don't. That's not a true investigation. A true investigation, whether you believe it or not, it has nothing to do with it. Whether you support an idea or not, that's not what you're there for. As an investigator, as a reporter, as a journalist, even as if you're going to be like me, if you're going to be the type of podcast that I am, you're going to call out the good and bad on both sides. Because what we're aiming for are facts. What we're aiming for are truths. And that is the point of this show. Yes, I do get caught up in my emotions about it. I become passionate. But like I've told many people off camera, if you're right, you're right. And if you're wrong, you're wrong. And I even said it when we had our special guest on here, Mr. Dwayne Stinson. Much love to you. I know you're a busy man. And I appreciate all the help you have given me in keeping Elephant Exposed pushing and moving. Same thing with our content, our content creator, Mr. Jim. Thank you as well, sir. And most of all, I want to thank my main support, my line of support, my wife, Miss TNTBS. This needs to be said. Thank you so much for even giving me a place where I can put these thoughts out here and share it with our group. So guys, at this point in time, I want to know what you think. I want to know how you feel. Maybe this touched you in some type of way, or maybe you're just now finding out about this. And in whatever way, I want to know. Talk to me, guys. I promise you, I may not respond right away, but when I see your comments and I know that you've watched this show, it just gives me all that more gas, all that more fuel, all that more energy to keep doing this. Because I'm gonna tell you something, guys, podcasting ain't for everybody. And sometimes it can get very discouraging. But I do it because I feel like that not only do I have something to say, but I feel like the things that I can share with you, I feel like that I am being one of the voices that maybe you don't want to say. Maybe you're too afraid to say it, but I'm not. And I can't get fired or canceled because this is our show. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for your support. Please, 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 please hit like, subscribe, because this show is just done by what comes into me. And please share. And if you don't even like what I'm saying, share it to someone else. Bug somebody else about it. Let them know how much I suck. Okay? All right, guys. I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all be easy.